send the word over there, that the Yanks are coming, the Yanks are coming, the drums rum-tumming everywhere. So prepare, say a prayer, send the word to beware. We'll be over, we're coming over, and we won't come back till it's over there. Over there, over there, send the word over there, that the Yanks are coming, the Yanks are coming, the drums rum-tumming everywhere. So prepare, say a prayer, send the word to beware. We'll be over, we're coming over, and we won't come back till it's over there. Over there, send the word over there, that the Yanks are coming, the Yanks are coming, the drums rum-tumming everywhere. So prepare, say a prayer, send the word to beware. We'll be over, we're coming over, and we won't come back till it's over there.
I'm only human. I've got two arms, I've got two lips, I've got a heart. I'm only human. I need your love, or else my life will never start. If you were mine, you could design my future at last. If it can't be, then take it from me. My future is a thing of the past. I'm only human. Must have a smile, a gentle word, a tender kiss. I'm only human, and only you can fill my heart with all I miss. Maybe I love you too much, maybe I'm too sincere, but can you blame me? I'm only human.
Listen here, honey John, I'm only human. I got two arms, I got two lips, and I got a heart. I mean it. I'm only human. And if I don't get your love, I know my life ain't never gonna start. You know, if you was only mine, I know you could design my future at last. But if that can't be, then just take it from me. My future's gonna be a thing of the past.
I'm only human. Must have a smile, a gentle word, a tender kiss. I'm only human, and only you can fill my heart with all I miss. Maybe I love you too much. Maybe I'm too sincere. But can you blame me? I'm only human.
Veli calling. Veli calling. Hello, soldiers of the Seavish military, sons of Callahan. I've just arrived at the Veli train station from Spire in Weathered Expanse, and I am quite thrilled to be working for the Colonial Press, and everyone here has been so kind to me. There is so much of everything here in Veli, far more than in Whedon's Row, and nobody tries to rob you in the street. I tell you all this, my darling boys in blue, because I want to make one thing clear to you all. Your war of aggression must stop. Do you know that since our decline as the world's foremost trading partner, we have wasted billions of liras attempting to deny trade to the colonial city-states? Why do we allow our livelihoods to be ruined by the decisions of wealthy land-owning lords? Do you not believe you have a right to keep the money you earn and not pay half of your income in taxes, only to have thousands of our men die in the fields of barley and flax? Is your blood not worth their consideration? So I say to you, every warden girl and boy, children of Callahan, when you march foolishly into battle, think of the reality that you will never see home again, and those who sent you care not for your cries for mother as you lie dying in the fields, in the forests, in the swamps. There are also quite a number of you who have ambiguous loyalty to both armies, choosing to side with one or the other depending on how the wind blows. History teaches us that those who claim fealty only to themselves will find themselves the first blamed and the last depended on. The warden soldier does not trust you, nor do the citizens of any town you come across. Everyone sees you for the black sheep you are. You may fool the wardens, but colonial justice shines through the darkest night. Remember this when you are tied to the firing post. Consider this our formal introduction, soldiers of Callahan. We will be meeting on a regular basis from now on. Ask yourself this question, if you have a moment to consider it while you are hiding in your foxholes. What are you dying for? You've pledged your life to a king who has been dead for centuries, given the reins of power to corrupt lords in charge of your land that you pay taxes to. All the equipment we had during the Great War was outdated, and we stole colonial technology to compete, just like today. Our people have not created or developed any innovative technology in the last 150 years. Do you really think anything you have is genuine? Not even your tactics can be attributed to Callahan's might. They are the strategies of weakened, fearful foes, seeking an advantage with underhanded methods to steal, threaten, and force unwilling participants into a war nobody wanted. You must see that this is true while you are out there in Jade Cove, smoking your cheap cigarettes and drinking chemically treated water, while the officers smoke fat cigars and drink cognac, mocking your squalor while you sit knee-deep in muck and briny seaweed, knowing that you may very well become useful targets for a missile strike, much like the last conflict. Colonial soldiers outside of town during the missile strike remember hearing the screams of warden soldiers in those very same spots you're in, as they were flash-burned into the cobbled streets of town. If you look now, you can still see their imprint as the bomb flattened the city. Now consider, do you want to be here again when your own army destroys this city? It seems to me that most of you are poorly informed about the going of the war, to say nothing about a correct explanation of your presence over here. You have struggled for over 300 days to defeat the might of the colonial army. It is impressive that an army whose loyalties cling to the thinnest of agreements has lasted this long. However, we remember the civil war you had during the last conflict. Everyone in your army is concerned that your own members will betray your army and bomb another city like Jade Cove. They should be worried, of course. Judging that the price for failure or incompetence in the warden army brings with it severe and inhumane penalties, anyone who disobeys is treated as a traitor, instead of someone concerned for their own livelihood and the lives of their families back home. Perhaps that is why you fight. You know nothing more than to be led to slaughter like cattle, for fear of the prod pushing into your back. I have to leave for now, but do not forget me. If you wish, feel free to send letters to my office here in Colonial Press. Deadlands Lana, signing off.
Hello, this is James Miller from 271 LNVR, and today is a very special episode of the Legionary News Network. Today, we have a special guest with us. He is a one-of-a-kind hero and veteran of the Colonial Legion. A standout hero to all. His name is Asher Dustman. He is the executive writer of the Legionary Weekly, political and diplomatic expert. He has spent the last 10 years in the Legionary Armed Forces and works extremely closely with the Machiavellian governments. Last week, he attended the peace negotiations in what appeared to have been abandoned ward where negotiations broke down. I am with him here live today. Go ahead, Asher. Tell me what it was like to be at those negotiations.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on your show, Mr. Miller.
It's a pleasure having you.
Well, first off, when we came, our committee decided to show up at Abandoned Ward. We had an issue regarding the wardens showing up late.
Very predictable, as they never appear to arrive anything on time. The peace negotiations of the past have been pretty similar.
Yes, that's quite correct. Furthermore, they did not approach the talks with any semblance of respect or honor to either side's fallen. As a matter of fact, they came upon a vehicle that had a number of their dead still there, and they had offered us a considerable sum of money to burn it before we even got to peace talks. So there was already some awkward tension in the air in regards to their behavior and treatment of their own dead. Now, I would like to state this for the record. We have known for a time that there were prisoners of war that were captured during the last two conflicts. Now, we did not know about the particular status of these individuals until recently during these peace talks, when we discovered, much to our horror, that a large majority of these individuals had been executed, and others were sent out into the wastes, the wastelands up north, where we do not know where they are.
Pardon to interrupt you. Do you say executed?
That's correct, sir. They were lined up and fired upon over in Callahan's Pass. I'm not sure where, but they do believe it's at near Dullahan's.
Well, that is quite shocking news. Is there a reason why the colonial government has not released any information on that yet? I suspect it's because they want to try the wardens, right? If I'm not mistaken, it's.
That is correct, sir. We are attempting to hold those responsible to justice. Now, unfortunately, the delegation that I arrived with was in no shape to exercise any sort of diplomatic or any sort of negotiation in terms of finding out those responsible for those executions. However, what we did find that the terms of the ceasefire were agreed upon some days ago. Now, the terms of the ceasefire did not state anything over the administration of the islands on either side of the region here.
Which is what I assume caused the breakdown in peace talks, peace negotiations. Correct?
Yes, sir. That's correct. It appears that the wardens did not mention any issue regarding the holdings on the islands, nor the status of autonomy on either of those regions. However, a few days after we had agreed to the ceasefire, they came back and demanded that we relinquish control of those islands and put them directly under warden control. Now, stating the obvious, it's quite impossible to give a region autonomy and then demand it back within a week.
That is very true. It's almost laughable that they even thought of that. If I'm being honest, it's
It was quite baffling to most of us, as well as we had a few garrisons of legionary soldiers holding position there, awaiting formal transfer of military and government power to the citizens of those islands when they returned. However, the wardens appeared to have sent uh, their own forces to the island, and both factions then began to engage each other openly. And this has been happening for the past couple of days, up until a few days ago, about 9, 10 days ago, I believe.
quite convenient considering the fact that Democratic elections were supposed to begin sometime next week, if I'm not mistaken. Democratic elections were supposed to be held on the island to determine whether they wanted to continue autonomy or be absorbed back into the Empire, the Warden Empire. It's quite.
That is correct, sir.
Okay. I find it quite convenient that the Wardens decided to skirmish our boys on the island, as I know many of our brave soldiers who had fought in both the Great War and the Continuation War, who had fought gallantly, were on garrison of those islands, and many of those boys had fallen before getting to come home. I understand that. It is quite a tragedy what's happened with these negotiations.
Yes, it actually quite is, seeing as that there are 3.38 million lives that have been lost in the past two wars that we have yet to account for or properly pay our respects to. Now, both governments had agreed to the initial ceasefire, which had breathed a sigh of relief in our parliament. However, as of recent, seeing as how there have been conflicts emerging on the islands, we have torn up our ceasefire and the agreement between both our government and the Sevish government, and now we are in an active state of war. It can be chalked up to a number of factors, but I do believe the autonomy of the island regions was the main factor that led to the breakdown in negotiations there, Mr. Miller.
That would make quite a bit of sense, considering the fact that from what I was gathering just prior to this interview or discussion here, that the wardens themselves also, several other instances I know, so warden prisoners of war actually decided to stay within the confines of the Legion, as they saw the way of life here was much more favorable. And we even offered them the opportunity to become citizens here, knowing that they would have to retire their service of the Warden Empire and revoke their citizenship. I know that irked quite a bit of the upper leadership of the Wardens, making it very hesitant and very reluctant to give those islands that sense of autonomy once again, because they were afraid they would come in and be absorbed into us.
That's correct, sir. And frankly speaking, from a military standpoint, if I was a dirty warden dog, like most of those gentlemen over there are, I would probably be concerned about the idea of autonomy.
Yes.
The problem is, in retrospect of all of this conflict itself, is the fact that the wardens have failed to recognize the fact that the individuals on these islands have wanted autonomy for a very, very long time. And while the governments of our nations have agreed to give them said autonomy, we have not had the proper ability logistically or diplomatically until recently to provide that to them. Now, it seems to be just quite peachy that, at least in my perspective, that all of this has turned out the way it has, because it only proves to everybody who has ever experienced conflict with the wardens that they are not to be trusted, and that we will only see a certain victory by the full extermination of the wardens.
As tragic as it is, that appears to be the only way. I know the military and the government in Veli and Messe have agreed that civilian casualties will be minimized as much as possible. I know the wardens themselves are not afraid to throw their people out on the line. As Radio Warden, the filthy, disgusting radio show, has put it, that the warden cause, the warden state, is above that of a human life, and they are not afraid to throw as many lives or as many people against us as possible. While we do here value life and the 3.8 million dead, that's combined. We do feel that greatly here. It's not a number we like to trot around as a positive thing. If anything, it's a very depressing and upsetting number, because that's the many boys who have yet to be able to come home and will never get to come home. I know for you, going into the peace negotiations, expecting our prisoner exchange, it was rather depressing to find out about the treatment of our boys.
It was quite depressing, but it was not a surprise, frankly.
Do you expect any backlash here at home for any of this? I mean, I know millions of people are listening to this broadcast now here at home in their. Do you expect any more anger or resentment towards the wardens, especially regarding how they fired several rockets at our homes last war?
Well, I can't speak for much about the home regions. I have not been there in quite some time as a result of the ongoing conflict here.
Understandable.
But if I could postulate something, I would like to extend a sincere apology to the folks at home for our lack of aggressiveness in trying to find the situation beneficial to pick up and find these prisoners of wars of ours, our prisoners. It was unfortunate that we had to learn about their fate this way. We are just as distraught as you are, and believe you me, with all the men that I know on the front lines now, we will pay them back, and we will make sure that they feel every last one of those men's lives.
We are certainly hoping so. As we are hearing, news around the newsroom here has started to stir. Many people are not thrilled about these comments. One of our technical operators, radio operators, has actually handed me his 2 weeks notice to let me know he is volunteering for the Legionary Armed Forces, shipping out 2 weeks from today. I know the resentment here is rather high. We're hoping that we can get more boys in green to go out and just push back. We need to end this. This war has gone on for too long. That this evil, tyrannical system has existed too long. We need just about everybody we can get to help stop them. I think the peace negotiations, the way they've gone, is an example of that. Even listen, the warden newspapers and warden propaganda don't even have any self-regard for the individual. It's always about the state and always about the system, the throwing away of lives for the glorification of a leader that's no longer alive, mind you. We certainly hope to see an end to this. I mean, nobody here wants this war to continue. We all want to make life as peaceful as possible. It's just a tragedy. I think those people up in the north need us almost. Do you feel almost a certain obligation to help these people of Caoiva?
I frankly don't feel any obligation to help them. I feel an obligation to teach them the lesson. And I think most of my brothers in the Legion agree. It's not so much about being humanitarian anymore. It's more about being egalitarian with punishment. Now, unfortunately, I do believe that at some point we were beguiled to believe that we could change the mentality of the government there to the north. However, as time has gone on, it's become this individual soldier's opinion that it has become untenable to try and reconcile our differences.
Very understandable. It's quite a tragedy. We do certainly hope that this war will be successful. Once again, I think most people share the same opinion, that there isn't any obligation that there may have once before, but now with the brutality of it, it's about ending the fight and ending the wardens. I don't see very many people as enthusiastic about helping them anymore. I know several times before people have reached out. Our humanitarian group had reached out to them before to help out and assist these people. But I don't see that anymore. Like you had said, it's no longer an obligation, but more of an obligation to destroy them, if I'm not mistaken, right? Destroy the threat that exists in our lives, the parasite.
That is correct, sir. We have come to the conclusion that no matter what we do, we cannot reason with the warden long enough for him to understand where we are coming from in terms of our motivations to unite this broken land. So, because of their inability to understand, it has become our duty to force them to understand.
It is, yes, that is duty. Duty is more important than anything. We are going to cut to a short music break. We will be back as, once again, our special guest, Asher Dustman. He is going to be joining us for most of the radio broadcast. We're going to cut now. Oh, my apologies. We have a special word from our sponsor in Belly.
Wakey, wakey, citizens and heroes of tomorrow. Oliver T. Johnson here with an important message. You've got the guts. You've got the experience. You've got the training. But do you know the signs? Stay alert. Stay alive. That doesn't just mean keeping an eye out. It also means telling others what you see. A warden scout wandering through the woods? Call it out. Stay alert. Stay alive. Even if he's just a partisan with no support, make sure that he's alone. Scout with a battle buddy to make sure he isn't reporting intelligence to his squad mates in hiding. Anything out of place? Trucks unlocked at night. Wire lines cut? Footsteps? Report it. It's your duty to ensure the word gets out about enemy movements and plans before they do harm to your allies in other regions. Relay your findings to your faction regional communications officers and be as accurate with information as you can. The more detail, the better. Remember, if you find yourself in a conversation with a stranger, do not leak sensitive information about troop movements, operations, or equipment. Zip your lip. And as always, stay safe out there. Johnson out.
Down went the gunner, and then the gunner's mate. Up jumped the sky pilot, gave the boys a look, and manned the gun himself as he laid aside the book, shouting, praise the Lord, and pass the ammunition. Praise the Lord, and pass the ammunition. Oh, praise the Lord, and pass the ammunition, and we'll all stay free. Praise the Lord, hallelujah to the mission. Praise the Lord, hallelujah around the wishes. Praise the Lord, we're all between perdition and the deep blue sea. Yes, the sky pilot said it. You gotta give him credit for a son of a gunner was he. Shouting, praise the Lord, we're on a mighty mission. All aboard, we're not a-going fishing. Praise the Lord, and pass the ammunition, and we'll all stay free.
Ain't she sweet? See her coming down the street. Now I ask you very confidentially, ain't she sweet? Ain't she nice? Look her over once or twice. Now I ask you very confidentially, ain't she nice? Just cast an eye in her direction. Oh me, oh my, ain't that perfection? I repeat, don't you think that's kind of neat? And I ask you very confidentially, ain't she sweet?
Ain't she sweet? See her coming down the street.
Now I ask you very confidentially, ain't she sweet?
Ain't she nice? Look her over once or twice.
Now I ask you very confidentially, ain't she nice? Just cast an eye in her direction. Oh me, oh my, ain't that perfection?
We repeat, don't you think that's kind of neat?
And I ask you very confidentially, ain't she sweet? Coming down the street. Now I ask you very confidentially, ain't she sweet? Ain't she nice? Look her over once or twice. Now I ask you very confidentially, ain't she nice? Just cast an eye in her direction. Oh
oh my, ain't that perfection? Can't believe it, I repeat. Don't you think that's kind of neat? And I ask you very confidentially, ain't she sweet? Oh, I need that gal, but most essentially, ain't she sweet?
Right, we return. Again, this is James Miller from 27-1 LNVR. Our special guest, Asher Dustman, did have to leave. He had a urgent situation occur at the the council chambers, where protesters have now come out to talk about the extremely inhospitable treatment of our colonial friends, our colonial soldiers and POWs, as many of them do not see the treatment by the wardens as ethical by any means or any standards. So he is over there. He's going to be trying to see what's going on. Once again, you can see him and his work in the Legionary Weekly, which is a weekly published paper by the Colonial Press, which is also sponsoring this radio broadcast. We do turn to some important news going on the front. The Colonial Navy has begun to blockade warden cities in hopes of starving and preventing warden forces from resupplying their troops on the line here. It is appearing to be effective, as colonials do continue to hold their positions at Deadlands and Farinac Coast. The only place where it's not seeming to work out is Endless Shore, the only region of true battle. I am here. Yes, we are here receiving news about that right now, about how the Endless Shore is a true slugfest. Earlier, colonials did hold Tuatha Watch Post, but it appears only possibly within the last half an hour they did lose the area. Colonials are holding strong in the Enduring Post, however, a key central point into Endless Shore. We are just trying to keep up to date here with the war. It appears to be more of what many people are calling the fake war, or the phony war. There's been very little activity on the line. Once again, the only real areas of contention are the island regions, as well as Endless Shore. Even there, the Endless Shore region is very, very very quiet in terms of fighting. Not nearly as grand as previous conflicts. We are hoping that stays the case, as we do not want this to broil into a complete and utter brawl or full-scale war like the past two. Once again, the Great War and the Continuation War had cost the lives of close to 3.8 million people. It's not a casualty number we like to see, nor is it one that we'd like to continue to see. We are certainly hoping that the wardens do smarten up and agree to the peace negotiations, allowing free and democratic elections to occur in the Fisherman's Row, Oarbreaker, and oh my goodness, I can't think of the island. What is that other last island? Oh, and Tempest Islands. We do certainly hope that the negotiations settle on the deal, that allowing them to have a free and democratic election, allowing them to determine their fate, whether they want to continue to be autonomous, join the Colonial Legion, or join the fallen Warden Empire. We are going to keep you informed and keep you up to date on that situation there. In the meantime, another news, a new weapon of war has been developed and established, a motorboat, a small strategic vessel, allowing colonial engineers and special forces teams to bring the fight to the wardens through covert means. It is a small 3-man personal vessel with 2 slots for fuel and extra fuel, or HE or sticky grenades, or whatever you see fit. We will cut to our war correspondent here momentarily. He is in the Endless Shore region, fighting alongside, or reporting alongside. He does not fight. Reporting alongside colonial forces. So we're going to go live to Frank Smith on the front lines of the Endless Shore. Thank you here, James. We are on the front lines of the Endless Shore region here, where colonial boys are making making a strong stand, as warden forces are trying to press in from the eastern and northern flanks here. We are trying to assess the situation here. It's not entirely clear how desperate it is. I do apologize, we are losing, we're just going to oh, it appears we have just lost communication with Frank Smith. We will come back to you momentarily as soon as we establish connection. In the meantime, we're going to play 16 tons.
Some people say a man is made out of mud. A poor man's made out of muscle and blood. Muscle and blood and skin and bones. A mind that's weak and a back that's strong. You load 16 tons, what do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. St. Peter, don't you call me, 'cause I can't go. I owe my soul to the company store. I was born one morning when the sun didn't shine. I picked up my shovel and I walked to the mine. I loaded 16 tons of number 9 coal, and the straw boss said, well, to bless my soul, you load 16 tons, what do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. St. Peter, don't you call me, 'cause I can't go. I owe my soul to the company store. I was born one morning, it was drizzling rain. Fighting and trouble are my middle name. I was raised in the canebrake by an old mama lion. Can't no high-toned woman make me walk the line. You load 16 tons, what do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. St. Peter, don't you call me, 'cause I can't go. I owe my soul to the company store. If you see me coming, better step aside. A lot of men didn't, a lot of men died. One fist of iron, the other of steel. If the right one don't get you, then the left one will. You load 16 tons, what do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. St. Peter, don't you call me, 'cause I can't go. I owe my soul.
Where the fuck do you get a rifle at? Or you just set out with a damn pistol?
To the company store.
I'm a prisoner
No
of
more
war
lodging.
on a foreign shore where I fought for the red, white, and blue. In my prison of stone, I keep thinking of home, and I dream of the one I love so true. In my dungeon so bare, with the ground my chair, how I long.
We have re-established connection with Frank Smith. We are cutting to him right now. Thank you, James. I do apologize here for that short cuttage. We did not mean to. Our radio operator here had turned the wrong knob and turned us to the wrong radio station. I certainly hope. Hopefully it was not anywhere important. Right, here we go. We are back here on the front lines of the Endless Shore region here with colonial forces, trying to establish what's going on here.
As I said that, I got shot. Oh my goodness.
Still I made it.
Buongiorno.
Can anybody tell me what the situation is like here?
Hey, yeah, we need some guys to help clear the road to the south so we can
There's a
keep
whole
latching.
bunch of them in the southeast. Like, there's
With me,
5
if you
guys
wanna
that
help.
just killed me in the southeast
Southeast?
town right here.
I do.
Yeah,
Yes,
the
sir.
town over here, this way.
I do apologize there, Brian Peppers, but I am a war correspondent from.
It's gonna sound like, what's his name? From House of Cards.
I don't know whether that's a compliment or an insult, but I'll take it as one.
Well, I'm Frank Underwood. I can't do it.
I'll take it as a win. I do not understand.
Well, be prepared for some contacts down here.
I'm always prepared here. I have no weapon. I normally do carry a sidearm just in case of these kind of situations, but I've been informed by my press counterparts that I must not carry a firearm, as it is a violation of war.
Yeah, we've been at this for a few days now. We've had some vital supplies being cut off.
It does appear that our colonial friend has disappeared. He did say supplies here have been rather scarce on the front lines of Endless Shore, especially in the Enduring Post area, is now 1,500 hours on day 10 of the 21st Valley and Covish War. Seavish, Covish, doesn't matter, it's all the same. It wants to be Valiant once we win it, so. The true wardens are pushing rather heavily in the northern region of the city in an attempt to what's only can suppose a final grand assault on the city in of itself. As gunshots are ringing out here. These don't. Oh.
Sorry.
You're alright.
Get back.
You just shot a.
Yeah, you just walked in. Rookie? Here.
I don't understand who you're calling a rookie, boy.
I'm calling you a rookie. Rookie?
Obviously, he doesn't understand at all. That you're not supposed to shoot your friends with the machine gun. You're supposed to shoot the enemy. Many of these boys do not understand what it is yet. They'll figure it out. I think this boy will figure it out eventually. Don't always have the wisest troops. He must be coming from from one of our expanded territories, possibly from the Westgate Highlands or Umbral regions. They are Seavish folk. They don't necessarily raise the best education, not nearly as good as those boys in Valley, so it's not his fault he's stupid. But the army must have examined his eyes, but I don't know. We'll see. It has to examine his eyes better.
Well.
Yeah, I guess the army won't have to worry about him anymore. Yeah, stand still, son. Stand still. I'll heal you up. Can you tell me what the situation up north here is? What the situation is here? Trying to fight on the road? Oh, jeez.
Southwest.
I do believe I've been hit with a hand grenade. Well, I think I'm alright. Just a flesh wound.
Why are you retreating?
Because we're gonna lose the place. Pushing from west, north, and east. So just take anything you can into your logi and run it down into Umbral.
You're gonna want to leave because they're wrapping around south.
You do not understand. You don't understand.
You might be cut off here.
Y'all don't understand. This is not nearly as bad as what has been experienced in the past, but I do advise lodges to take as much as they can out of here. The rest of y'all need to stand and fight like real colonial men. You don't need shirts. It's a main city. Most of these boys appear to be just fresh out of boot. Barely know how to use their rifle as experts, let alone be in combat efficient. I'm a non-combatant with the colonial press.
Sorry.
Man charged at me with a bayonet. How dare he? Fighting has erupted here on the streets of the Enduring Post. Many of our colonial boys are here. I am forced none other to grab a rifle and
not pushing back.
Hold off what I can here. Puppix, can you tell me what the situation here at Enduran's been like for the last several hours?
It's been pretty bad. Pretty bad.
Pretty bad? I do want to let you know you are live here with the Legionary News Network in Valley, with our frontline correspondent.
Hello.
You got a word for the folks back home?
Not really.
Not really?
Keep pushing. And try not to die, right?
Yeah, I suppose that is one of the wise words to say. I'll tell you what though, these wardens will pay for every inch of land they try to take from us.
Yep.
These aggressors do not deserve the grace.
Dude, he's not dying, see that? How's that not?
We're just out of range with our rifles. All we're doing is suppressing him.
Hey, don't turn for me, man.
Cover me, cover me.
I don't want to die. No! My phone's so
The situation here has become apparently desperate, as our boys on the line here attempt to hold out what appears to be a complete and utter warden onslaught.
Watch the east.
I do believe wardens are banking on the idea that our boys will surrender. I highly doubt it. I've served with legionary forces for quite some time. We are not ones to give up our positions here. Good work, boys. Good work. Good work. Watch your fire. Watch your fire. Yes, wardens are coming in from the southeast here, guys. Be advised. There's a lot of fire going on here. This is rather a heated battle for so early on in this phony war. Oh, thank you there, son. Thank you.
Cover the book.
Remember me, boy.
We'll always remember you. You and your SOM friends, your boys are the best boys in the entire Legion. Some of the best, I should say. Should not be able to choose favoritism. I'm shot now. I am shot here. It appears to be through the leg. Ah, it's always the leg. Thank you so much, son. The medic come here and stop the bleeding. I'm now forced to use a rifle as a crutch. Not in self-defense, I promise. Although it may be used in self-defense. Warden forces are appearing to break through into the inner city. I'm being pulled away by a medic here. This fighting is rather brutal here. Boys, we may have to pull back into the inner city here. Ah, Been hit yet again in the other leg. It's always the leg. We're able to make it into a building here where the fighting is. Seems like it's ceased for just a moment. Just long enough to get a medic. Let's see. Alright. Hello there, Pete.
Oh, hello there, RG. Hey, RGB.
You are live here with the Colonial Press.
You're streaming?
I am reporting live from our radio services offered by the Twitch radio services in the Heartlands of Valley.
You just stole a shotgun from some filthy wardens. Yeah, we're actually...
Well, originally the wardens stole our plans to build shotguns. See, they're not sophisticated enough to build them on their own.
That's what I thought.
Nothing those wardens have built have ever been invaded. They've always... Well, we will stop them here, or we will die trying.
Yeah.
Once again, it is day 10. It is 1000 hours here at the Endless Shore region in the Enduring Post sector. We are here fighting with colonial forces. Not fighting, I'm here supervising. Just occasionally firing a rifle round off, as I am a non-combatant. However,
coming through the house.
Colonial forces are here attempting to hold off the ones as long as possible. Appears to be a boy, somebody of some sort, playing musical instruments. But told by a medic to avoid moving around. Colonial forces are holding out here in the streets. Wardens are pressing rather hard here on the east as well as the north. One can only hope, though, that reinforcements and supplies can arrive. As many here are hoping for it. As Wardens have unethically deployed gas to the battlefield, a dire yet petty result of the inefficiencies to use conventional means to push out forces. They rely on absolutely horrific and brutal means by deploying gas masks, which only suffocate an individual. It is a very slow and painful death. We will stop them indeed, that is correct. We need more boys like you, Corporal Wintertime. hit yet again. Its fighters appear to stall out here. In the end, the shore colonial forces are holding strong against the Wardens here in Enduring Post. We are going to cut back to James Miller to see if there's any other updates that have changed in the recent hour. Thank you there, Frank. That was our live war correspondent, Frank Smith, reporting in from the front lines of the Endless Shore region, a very highly contested region at the current moment, where most of the bulk of the fighting has occurred. In the current moment, much of the territorial change has not been significant. All positions have held. Once again, there's a total of 24,763 dead in total after only after 10 days of fighting. But Endless Shore is so far the only contested region. Deadlands Wardens have made minimal progress, but nothing significant. And in the Pharaonic Coast, Wardens have made absolutely no progress, with the Colonials holding Terra, Jade Cove, and Mara as the key home cities. In Deadlands, Colonials hold Liberation and Abandoned Ward being the former Warden Empire's capital, before being reoccupied by colonial forces and being named Abandoned Ward, as Wardens tend to abandon their important key cities. In Endless Shore, all key Victory Point cities are controlled by Wardens. That will be Saltbrook Channel, Tuatha Watch Post, and Vulpine Watch. Colonials do hold one position there at the Enduring Post, and that appears to be it. In Orebreaker, the Orebreaker Isles, Colonials hold the key city of the Report, while Wardens hold Conclave, Albastor Island, Requilia, and Skelter Course. And at Fisherman's Row, Colonials hold one key city, with the hopes and prospects of securing more in the coming days. That is your news broadcast for the evening. We are going to conclude tonight's broadcast. I would like to give a special thanks to Presscore for endorsing our radio services. I'd also like to give a special thanks to Mothman47, Corporal Kovac, the Colonial Press team, and our two voice actors, Deadlands Lania and Emil. I'd like to thank them for their tremendous amounts of work that they've done towards the success of the furtherment of the colonial cause. Once again, this is James Miller from 27-1 signing off.